Hi, everybody. Jeff Slakey at the Alderbrook Resort for the Thursday, January 3rd Affordable Workforce Housing Summit put on by Peninsula Credit Union and other great organizations around Mason County. Erin Hall with me now, the Government Affairs Director for the Olympia Master Builders. Hi, Erin.
Hey, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for sitting and talking with me a little bit. First, tell me about the Olympia Master Builders and the mission.
Oh, well, the name is a little bit deceiving. We're a home builders association that works at the county and city level to promote affordable home building opportunities. But we actually work outside of Olympia as well. We represent 5 counties, and that would be Mason, Lewis, Thurston, Grays Harbor, and Pacific. So we've got a pretty big footprint, and we work with a lot of different communities. My job in particular as a government affairs director is to work with our county and our city partners to improve the building process in a multitude of ways. Whether that be decreasing permitting times, making sure that policy that's rolling out for the first time is appropriate and will actually be able to be effective when it comes to putting a shovel in the ground, and generally troubleshooting and acting as an in-between between our home builders and our elected officials.
Well, let's talk about the home builders and the remodelers that you talk to. When you speak with them, what did they say about affordable workforce housing and some community impacts?
Oh gosh, well, they're on the front lines for that, so they really get to see both the impacts to themselves and their crews and the greater community, and they really feel the pinch that we have with this affordable housing shortage here in the region. And what we hear a lot is that the housing environment is an ecosystem, and so there are people who are hurting at the very, very lowest income sections of our communities, but also the folks who are in the middle are our nurses, our teachers, our firefighters. Those are the ones who don't have the opportunity to really attain that first home ownership opportunity, and that's something that we look to improve.
Are there other different counties outside of Mason that you are under your purview that have taken the steps to bring more affordable housing to those counties, and what have you heard about the economic impacts of that?
Oh gosh, well, I think that because the problem is so big up and down the West Coast and up and down the I-5 corridor in particular, a lot of communities have started engaging in trying to find solutions, and they're taking really good first steps, but I don't think anybody's found the golden key yet for that. And it really depends on where you're looking. If you're talking about a city or a county level versus the state or federal level, there are a lot of good steps that are being taken. But what we know is at a city and a county level that the return on investment for building new homes is just fantastic. The benefits to an individual in terms of wealth accumulation is fantastic, but then beyond that, we know that when we construct a new house in Mason, Lewis, Thurston, any of our counties, the return on investment is about 3 to 1. So every dollar that a house that goes into building a house, there's more money that goes into a community. Local crews are used, local suppliers are used, people pay taxes, that tax money gets reinvested. $3 extra comes into a community from that. So beyond just being able to put a roof over people's head, investing in housing as a part of community development is so very vital.
What are the overarching problems that you hear when it comes to, you mentioned permitting and timelines when it comes to the processing of the paperwork and things like that? So are those kind of the major barriers that you're seeing for builders, remodelers, constructors in the counties, or are there other unique
Oh gosh, well, there's a whole host of things that contribute to the rising price of housing. We talk about those things a lot because they're ones that we can have a direct impact on at a municipality level. But just broader than that, there's a workforce shortage in the construction trades. For a long time, kids were told, hey, go to the universities, get a 4-year degree. That's the way you're going to make your money. And so we have a gap of folks who just haven't gone into the trades. So there's a lot of competition for skilled laborers. The cost of materials are rising across the board, across the country, and that obviously is going to contribute to the overall cost of a house. But in terms of what we can do practically and proactively is to work with our local municipalities and say, hey guys, we know that you have to have permitting. It's good for basic health and community standards. It helps the cities gain some revenue to provide other vital services. And that's fine and wonderful because we really support that, but at the same time we need to make sure that that entire process is something that is predictable and as short as possible, because for every extra week that we have to hold a construction loan, there's extra interest accruing and it ends up being rolled onto the consumer at the very end. So the more process improvements we can do along the way to make that timeline short and to make the process predictable, the better outcomes we can have.
Does that come from the state the county or the city level? Which would be the most impactful and effective to talk to and explain some of the issues to get some less permitting times, less fees and things like that? Is that a state kind of mandate that comes down to the other counties that you're able to talk to the legislature about? Or?
Oh gosh, yeah. So that's obviously a pretty big question. So some of what we have to do just for home building does come out of the state level, and it has to do with the Growth Management Act and some of the requirements that it has that it in turn passes on to the cities and the counties. But again, when it comes down to the practical part of it, every city and every county has its own permitting office, and so they're the ones that we really try and work with. And even here in Mason County, we offer all the time to go in and say, hey guys, let's take a look at what your permitting times are, and let's do an internal audit of which permits take the longest. Why are they troubled children? Why are they the ones that are causing a little bit of a stop in the process? And how can we, either through practical application or through code changes, make that a little less onerous?
How's the response been?
Pretty lovely, actually. Like I said, it's a very complex problem, and there are a lot of moving parts to it, so we have to take little incremental wins. You're never going to have that magic bullet. But everyone at City of Shelton and Mason County has been wonderfully responsive to hearing our concerns from the industry, and we've been able to partner with them proactively on some policies moving forward.
What are some of the governmental goals for the Olympia Master Builders into 2019?
Oh gosh. So at the county level, definitely what we want to do is take a look at ways that we can increase buildability in rural lands. As I mentioned before, the Growth Management Act is a statewide requirement, and it says that we have to preserve the characteristic of rural lands, which is a wonderful goal, and it is very necessary in terms of environmental protection and maintaining the character of some of our lovely outdoor areas. But at the same time, it really limits the ways we can build and how much we can build. So taking a look at things like how we can build accessory dwelling units in the rural county is very important. Those are sometimes called mother-in-law units, the ones you see somebody's converted a garage. Well, unfortunately, in the county, typically you have to abide by density requirements, say that you can't have more than one housing unit per 5 acres. And so we're trying to find ways to say, we want to maintain that same rural character, but maybe find ways to accommodate some extra units so that we have the same beautiful character in Mason County that we currently do, but we can accommodate the population, and especially with ADUs or mother-in-law units, maybe do it at a rate that's a little bit less expensive than a full single-family house.
The federal tax law that was passed included some opportunity zones, and there are a couple in Mason County. Does the Olympia Master Builders find those opportunity zones an exciting prospect moving forward? Or
very exciting. One of the things that we have been working, though, with our cities and county level governments across our region, however, has been if you have opportunity zones, if you have areas where there's multifamily tax exemptions there, that's a great program. But because you, as a city or a county, want more housing, you need more housing, you can't just have those on your books and expect people to come to you. So what we're trying to encourage all of our elected officials to do is programmatically reach out to the building community instead of having it be a one-way conversation where builders come in and have to figure out what opportunities are there, to market those opportunities in a more meaningful way. Say, hey guys, we know that we need affordable housing. We have these great programs. Let's sit down and find a way to get from A to Z because we have the same goal, which is building new homes.
Erin Hall is the Government Affairs Director for the Olympia Master Builders. Thanks for being a part of the summit today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.